J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings is home to one of fantasy's most beloved ensembles, a band of heroes drawn from every corner of Middle-earth. The Fellowship of the Ring united four hobbits, two men, one elf, one dwarf, and one wizard, all bound by a single purpose: to destroy the One Ring. Yet, even amid their shared quest and brotherhood, one exchange of 5 words continues to feel strangely detached within Peter Jackson's celebrated film trilogy. Frodo's deep bonds and quiet distance. At its heart, the Fellowship of the Ring champions the theme of unity, the power of friendship against the shadow of evil. Frodo Baggins' relationships within the Fellowship captured this beautifully. His bond with Samwise Gamgee, his loyal gardener-turned-guardian, becomes the emotional backbone of the entire saga. Sam's devotion to Frodo transcends duty, blossoming into one of cinema's most touching portrayals of friendship. Frodo also shares long-standing ties with Merry and Pippin, who refuse to let him journey into danger alone. Gandalf's mentorship and quiet faith in Frodo reveal the wizard's deep affection for his young charge. Aragorn's solemn vow, "You bow to no one," later immortalizes his respect for Frodo's courage. However, Frodo's relationship with Boromir is marked by tragedy. Boromir's desire to claim the ring for Gondor leads to his downfall, but his redemption through sacrifice still forges a brief but powerful connection. Gimli's role remains small yet sincere, marked by his iconic promise, "You have my axe." Amid all these moments, though, one relationship feels oddly thin: Frodo's with Legolas. The 5 words that started it all. During the Council of Elrond, the Fellowship is formed in one of the trilogy's most iconic scenes. When Frodo volunteers to take the ring to Mordor, Aragorn kneels and pledges his sword. Legolas immediately follows with 5 simple words: "And you have my bow." Those 5 words have since become a beloved part of pop culture, quoted, memed, and celebrated. Yet, in retrospect, they mark almost the entirety of Legolas' direct dialogue with Frodo across more than 9 hours of film. Gimli's boisterous follow-up, "And my axe," adds levity, and Boromir's reluctant acceptance rounds out the formation of the Fellowship. But for all the emotional weight of that scene, it's striking that Legolas, the elf who promised his bow, would barely speak to the ring-bearer again. Why Legolas and Frodo never truly connect. In Tolkien's original writings, Legolas was a more talkative and spiritually curious character, often guiding and protecting the group. The film adaptation, however, trims his dialogue drastically, emphasizing his elegance and skill over his personality. Throughout the journey, Legolas contributes significantly, warning of dangers, identifying threats in the mountains, and saving Frodo from the Watcher in the water outside Moria. He senses the Balrog before the others and witnesses Gandalf's fall, yet never shares an intimate moment with the hobbit whose burden defines their mission. Legolas' silence could be read as elvish detachment. The elves, having once fought alongside men in the War of the Last Alliance, had long withdrawn from worldly affairs. By the time of the Fellowship, their great kingdoms had faded, and their people were preparing to leave Middle-earth. To an elf who had lived centuries, Frodo's mortal struggle may have felt like one of many fleeting tales in an endless age. Tolkien himself once noted that Legolas probably achieved least of the 9, suggesting that his purpose was symbolic rather than heroic, representing a race in decline rather than a warrior seeking glory. The elvish philosophy of distance. The elves' withdrawal from Middle-earth's affairs runs deep in their culture and history. After Sauron's first defeat, they chose isolation over intervention, leaving the remaining realms, Lothlorien and Rivendell, as quiet refuges rather than centers of power. Legolas, raised in the shadowed woods of Mirkwood, embodies this quiet detachment. His interactions are purposeful, not emotional. Protecting Frodo was part of his oath, but forging personal bonds may have felt unnecessary to one already burdened by centuries of loss and memory. Galadriel's prophecy and the elf's fate. One of Tolkien's most haunting verses appears in the Fellowship of the Ring, spoken by Galadriel to Legolas. Legolas, Greenleaf, long under tree. In joy thou hast lived. Beware of the sea. If thou hearest the cry of the gull on the shore, Thy heart shall then rest in the forest no more. This prophetic warning speaks to Legolas' destiny, a yearning for the undying lands across the sea. After Sauron's fall, he fulfills this fate, sailing to Valinor with his dearest companion, Gimli. Their friendship, born out of centuries of elvish-dwarvish animosity, becomes one of Tolkien's most profound testaments to understanding and reconciliation. In that sense, Legolas' minimal relationship with Frodo mirrors his journey from isolation to connection. Though he never forged a deep bond with the Ring-Bearer, his loyalty to the Fellowship and enduring friendship with Gimli complete his spiritual arc. And perhaps, when Legolas finally crossed the sea, to the same shores where Frodo had gone before him, the two old friends found time at last to truly talk.